Well, my name's Mal Edwards and I live on the canal on a narrowboat, and basically I make fenders. I'm really retired and I make fenders for the boats, which are a protection or a bumper which fits on the front of the boat to protect lock gates and cushion your boat if you hit a lock gate or you hit another boat. Let's say when I was little, I always loved the canals, and I managed to. Oh, Dad used to say to me, because he was born in the canal cottage at Grinley, don't go on the canals, dirty old canals, don't go on the canals, this, that and the other. I had enough of the canals when I was a kid, and because I wanted to go on the canal. So Tom Adams, who lived in the wharf house by the Butter Market there, I used to see him on the canal cutting the edges and things. I used to sit down, talk to him, he'd get his pipe out, and start smoking it, and we'd sit down, he'd tell me these tales. They were usually characters, the lengthsmen were, and they nearly all smoked a pipe, and they nearly all wore corduroy breeches, and gaiters up to their knees, leather gaiters, and brown boots, and they all had waistcoats, just to keep the tobacco in and things. That's where they were, really. They all seemed the same the old days, that's how the traditional lengthsman was. And I said to him, is there any chance of me getting a job on the canal, Tom, do you think? Well, he said, you're interested, but I don't know whether you'll be able to. I'm the last one down here on this length. He said, I'll ask my boss at Ellesmere, Tommy Barclay. So I don't think you stand much chance. And it wasn't many days later, I went back home and there was a British Waterways man outside the house. I thought, why? I went in the house and there's somebody wants to see you here, Dad said. And he introduced, he said, I'm Tom Barclay, the local inspector for the area from Ellesmere. I said, I'd like a job on the canal. I say, I love one, yeah. The lengthsman was a chap who was in charge of a certain length of the canal, which is roughly about 4 miles. And he was solely in charge of that length of the canal, mowing the grass, cutting the edges, getting the weed out, stopping leaks, which was a big thing years ago because they didn't have the piling at the side of the canal. And because the little water holes used to just live level with the canal water or just below the canal water in the bank. And they used to come up to drink out the canal, which they could do because there's no piling. And because they go back in and the water would follow them, and the water would run down the burrows. And if the lengthsman wasn't there to come every week in 4 miles and fill all these little leaks alongside the canal, you'd end up with a great big, what they call a breach, the old canal would go. And that was their main job, really. They had the big responsibility. And then there was cutting segs, which people call rushes, at the sides of the canal. You cut them with a very big, long pole, 4 or 5 metres, 6 metres long, and to the scythe blade on it, the 45 shape, 45-degree shape, which is throw the pole out. Obviously, you keep hold of the one end and pull it back in, and you can see all the reeds coming up as it cut them. And that was to keep the channel clear, that was. The Shrewsbury Canal, actually, them days, it was an ash cinder towpath. And they used to cut it like a garden path all the way down from Shrewsbury to Coalport, if you like a garden path. And there was a 1 metre path all the way down, and it was weeded each side and cut each side. It was beautiful, actually, the towpath was them days. And the people used to keep it nice as well. It was just like going for a walk down somebody's garden. And the rushes would be clipped at the side of the canals, and the edges would be cut. And it was really nice. And that's what the lengthsman done, really. He was proud of his length, and he He really kept like a god. He was, yeah. All we work for Thomas Blake.